Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Don't Let It Stew. I mean, he's here pretty much every week at this point. We have Zac Peter. He's here. I asked you to do it. I was trying to get Pauly on, and he just was so busy. And I was like, Zac, you got to do it because these stories from last weekend are just so good. And I know I would have a lot of fun with you with them. And yeah, so I'm so glad you're here. And I'm just going to get straight into it. I mean, basically, it was a whole Housewives weekend for me. I
Yeah,
mean, you
what
saw the photographs.
I need the full brief.
I know, because I never really talked to you about it or anything like that. So I was like, okay. First of all, just to get off my chest really quickly, I mean, there's like another thing, and it's this story. I don't think this has happened to anybody. There's no way the story has happened to anybody, and I can't wait to tell it to everybody. So just stay tuned, like stay with us for a minute. Okay, first of all, when I'm on an airplane, so I take the red eye on Thursday night or Wednesday night, I get in Thursday morning. Is it me? I'm always sitting on the aisle seat. I don't, or I can do a window seat. Either.
I would prefer an aisle seat. I know
Great,
middle
me too.
seat, but I'm not a big aisle or I'm not a big window person. I like to make sure I can go to the bathroom when I want to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. And so I'm a confident flyer. I don't get too nervous about it, whatever, right? It's great. One thing that gives me the heebie-jeebies or just like I want to shit myself is when you're landing and the people to your right, I mean, wherever you're sitting, on the left or right in the plane, they don't fucking open up the windows.
Yeah.
As you're landing. Because so then you're just waiting there to hear this fucking gunk. And it's like, it just scares the shit out of me. And I get like worried. I just like to know when I'm kind of going to hit the ground. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you ask the person, hey, could you put that up? Because I'm going to have a heart attack.
I've never asked them, but I feel the same way. I get it if you want to sleep through most of the flight and you want to keep it down. I find that annoying, but fine. Yeah. I get it depending on, the time of day. But like when you land, like windows should just be up when you land.
Well, yeah, I want to know when I'm going to hit the ground because sometimes it's going to be a hard landing. So you kind of want to brace yourself. And it's, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that I just was like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. Maybe I should ask him. I should have just asked him. I was just like, I don't know, whatever. That was just something. So I get in on Thursday morning. I'm staying with Pauly and Dolores, who I fucking love so much. And they're such great time. I got to their house at probably 8 o'clock in the morning. Pauly's there, Dolores there. They're having coffee. I have coffee with them, sit down. I'm like, Dolores is like, get your ass up to bed. You just came in on a red eye. Just, go to sleep. I'm like, thanks so much. I'm like, I'll be down in a few minutes. So I've already said I'm going to cook them dinner that night. Like we said we were going to do this weeks ago, whatever. So I'm all good about that. So I go to bed. I get up at 12 o'clock in the after, or 12, I sleep from I sleep till about noon. I get up, I go downstairs, kind of groggy, and I have a Coke or something like that. And Dolores is there. And then Pauly comes in. He's like, he was doing some work or whatever. And he's like, hey, do you want to go to the store now? Or do you want to wait until I come back? And I was like, let's just knock it out right now. I said, let's just go, whatever. We go in the Rolls Royce, so chic. And we go to Target because we have to get some plates and stuff like that. Now we're in Target. I'm like, Pauly, hold the cart. I will just put everything we fucking need in it. Don't ask questions, whatever. So I'm like, do we need platters? Oh, sure, I don't know. You can get them if you want to. I'm like, no, do we need them? Sure, get them if you want to. So I'm like, am I stocking the whole kitchen here? With plates, cutlery, all that stuff? We ended up $1,800 out the door at Target. So we got every kit and caboodle.
Okay.
Everything. We got plates, which I understand for having
I can go to Target and spend an easy $200, but $1,800, dude, that's insane. At Target,
he just was like, if you think you need it, get it. And I'm like, which was really sweet of him, And I was like, okay, I'll get it. So now they're prepped if they ever want to do any dinner parties anymore. They're good.
Did they have anything for dinner parties before? Or you were the one that
they did. Dolores said they had stuff, but I think Pauly was like, I'm not sure, so just get it just in case.
Yeah.
I should have went through the whole kitchen before we left, And so we go. So then that's the first stop. And so the second stop is the grocery store, which is a great grocery store in New Jersey.
Oh, this is just decorations and cutlery and plating. We haven't even gotten to the food yet.
We're not even gotten to the food yet. So he's like, I said, how many people, Pauly? He's like, sure, 8 to 10, And I'm like, okay, great. So we go into the store. I'm like, we're going to do steaks, and we'll do like shrimp or salmon or something like that. And it's like, and I'll do a few side dishes. That's all we need. I do this for a living. It's easy. He's like, great. We go in. Not only do we get, so I'm like, oh, they have hanger steaks. They're very rare to find. You don't see them that much. I'm like, they're so delicious. Let's get those. So I get 6 of those. I just want to make sure there's enough food for like all these people, right? He's like, why don't we get some sirloins as well? I'm like, okay, so I'll have, okay, so I have 6 hangers. We have 4 sirloins. Now already we're hitting like 15 people worth of food, right? Like just in meat alone. Dolores is before we go, oh, just get a side of salmon. Just you can just bake that in the oven too. I'm like, okay. Oh, Pauly's like, oh, my sons like love chicken, so we can get some chicken as well. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't know when the fuck I'm going to find the time to do all this, but I'm like, okay. It's like now it's like 2:30. People are coming at 7. Nothing done. And Pauly's like, oh, what about a tomahawk steak? You know those big steaks with the
Yeah.
big bone on them?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, these are all different temperatures on the grill.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna.
yeah.
It's. I'm just like, I just want to die. I'm like, oh, no problem. I'm like, already, would you die? Just like straight away. You're just like, but he sees things. He's like one of those people that just like sees shiny things
Yeah. And just wants it.
and wants it. So he's probably hungry as well.
Yeah.
So he's like, what about some tuna? I'm like, put the fucking tuna down. We're not doing tuna.
Yeah.
I said, we have meat, we have chicken, we have salmon.
That's a
And
lot of food already.
he's like, why don't we get some crab cakes for appetizers? I'm like, fine, just grab them. I can heat them up in the oven. Fine. What about those stuffed mushrooms? I'm like, oh my God. I said, we don't have oven space. He's like, it'll be nice anyway. So he just threw them in. I come home back with so much food. And I'm like, I got to start working into this. I need to bring this out. They hired someone to help me that comes at 6. She's awesome. She's amazing. I'm like, just work on just cleaning up behind me. And so I can just focus on the food. She's like, great. Dolores walks in. No joking you. She has charcuterie platters for probably 25 people. And she has boxes of bread. One of the pieces of bread is made into the shape of a crocodile. And she's like, yeah, you know what it is. It's just Jersey. Like, we like a lot of food. I'm like, I said, Pauly, you need to start calling people. Even I started calling people in the city. I was like, do you want to come to dinner? I said, because we have food for 40.
Yeah.
No, it was insane. If you saw my Instagram, I posted photographs of it. Like, there was a shit ton of food. And probably even in the photographs, you didn't see all the rest that could have like replenished the platters. But great meal, great wine, lots of like gay couples they invited. Really, really fun time.
Oh my God. That is so much food, Stu.
It's like, no,
I'm looking
it's
at your
just
Instagram
like,
now. Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of food.
This was
And I
like
think
a
there was,
full-on feast.
yeah. I mean, he was asking everybody like, stop by. There's gonna be food. I knew there was so much steak in the fridge the next day, and they're like, so anyway, next story. This is where it gets good. This is the good story.
Is this Jill Zarin's?
No, it's before I get to Jill
Oh,
Zarin's.
we're not even at Jill Zarin's
So
yet.
I wake up. I'm like, what time should I go to the Hamptons? Pauly's like, oh God, you don't want to go after 12 with the traffic and Fridays. He's like, you know what? You were so nice last night. You were amazing. The dinner was fantastic. Let me just get you an Uber to go up to the Hamptons. I'm like, oh my God, that's so sweet of you. And so he got like a nice Uber. It was like $350 or whatever. But it's a lot. It's a 3-hour ride.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually pretty good for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
She calls the Uber. I go downstairs. I get in around 12 o'clock. I'm staying in Montauk for the night. This woman picks me up. She's like, oh God, she goes, you're going really far. I said, yeah. I said, the Hamptons. It's kind of far. I said, is that okay? And she's like, oh, I didn't really expect that. I was like, oh, do you not know when we call an Uber? I didn't know they don't know where they're going until they hit the button to accept.
Yes, but they do get some details of like they get to know what they're like how much money they're making. So
She lied.
obviously if she's getting $300, if the Uber's $300, she's making much bigger than her $15 that she normally makes per ride. You can
Absolutely.
put 2 and 2 together, and I think they also you can set your preferences in terms of like direction and how far and stuff. I mean, I don't know that.
That's what I think. Like, I mean,
But
would
yeah,
it even say like this trip is going to take you 3 hours?
yeah,
Like, you know, or whatever.
I'm
So
sure.
you can
Yeah, I'm
accept
sure
or
that's
not.
something that they.
Well, anyway, she accepted it. Really sweet girl. I think she was Puerto Rican, whatever it
She
was.
probably just saw it was good money for her.
Yeah, and she accepted it. And so she was kind of like, oh, she's like, it's kind of long. She's like, do you drive? And I was like, yeah, I do. I do drive.
She's
I
like,
said,
"Do you want to drive
so
half
why?
the way?"
I was like, no, She legitimately asked me that.
No.
I'm no, no, no. I'm like, I said, "How about you drive for a bit and we'll see how we do in a few hours." You know what I mean? I said, "Look," I said, I was like, "I don't mind helping you out or whatever." She's a sweet woman. So we're going, we stop halfway, we get a coffee, whatever like that. We're chatting. Like I'm actually watching Orange County Housewives in the back.
You know
And then
she's
that
billing you the entire time you're stopping.
I know, but I just was like, it is far. I kind of felt sorry for her, and I was like, oh, I was like, look, I'll just leave the option there. It's fine, but just let me watch my Housewives for an hour. So I watch the Housewives, and then I take off the thing. And she's nice. She kind of starts chatting with me. Then she kind of starts talking about her husband, and there's problems with her husband. And so I get really into it with her. I'm like, oh my God, well, try this or try that. And, you know, he might be a bit of a narcissist. I was like, oh, and then she's like, I think he likes men. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh.
I said, this is crazy. I said, I said, well, why? She's like, well, he kind of did this. I'm like, girl, you need to kind of monitor that. You know, we've been together 18 years. They have 2 kids, all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
We get into the Hamptons, kind of the beginning of the Montauk Freeway, or the highway. And she's like, do you mind if you drive for like, and I was like, I said, how long is left? I said, look, there's 1 hour left. I said, I'll drive the rest of the way. So we stopped on the side of the road. I get into the driver's seat. She gets into the passenger seat, and I drive my Uber to my destination all the way. Like Paulie got it. I just was like, whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah, we just chatted. We hit it off. I drove my own Uber to my destination.
That is some
Like,
bullshit. That is some bull fucking shit.
you fucking die?
I cannot believe you did that. Not only did she get to chill and make some extra money from stopping and watching Housewives for an hour and getting coffee and chit chatting, she got free therapy. She didn't even have to drive the
Yeah.
entire way, even though she agreed and she pocketed all the money.
Yeah. And
Wow.
I gave her $100 tip at the end as well.
Stu,
I know. I'm
why would
sorry.
you
It's
do
just
that?
because I just kind of felt sorry for
She
her. I
made
just was
you
like, shit.
drive. She bamboozled you.
Totally. Totally. I liked talking to her, and I just felt like, I was starting to use some of my Kabbalah techniques on her. It was great. She got a lot out of it. It's good. You give back, you know?
You gave a lot. You gave
Um,
her free therapy, a break,
it
money,
was
a
just like, it
tip.
was insane.
You know Polly
So,
probably tipped her too.
Paulie told me he'd give her a nice tip as well. She probably got like $600 out of that, right? She deserves it. It's a 3 hours there, 3 hours back. I mean, she deserved it.
She
I think it was like
accepted
a
the
lot.
ride.
That's true. You're like, you would have given her like $2.
I would have
You're
given
like, no.
her a standard
You're like,
20%.
I would have made her drive her own car.
Yeah, I would have made her do her fucking job.
So,
That's like going to a restaurant and being like, "Oh, the chef's tired. You know what? It's okay. Let me go in there and let me cook my own dinner
totally.
and
I
still
mean, I would
pay
do that.
full price and leave a tip."
I would totally do that. I can make it better. So we get up. I get up to Montauk. I'm staying with the boys that do Jill Zarin's events, Brian Kelly, and I knock on the door, and like Leanne Locken is there, and it's just like, I love her so much. We spent last year together. She's loud. She's like, we got 20 minutes. We have to be in the car to get to. We're going to like a dinner. Jill's like, she has a small kind of pre-dinner before the party on the Saturday.
Mhm.
So we go there. I mean, Teresa's there, Jen Aiden's there, Julia Hart's there. I hit it off with Julia Hart. We are talking about sex. We're talking about everything. She is so fucking fun. We swapped numbers. She's like, you need to come to my house in New York City. I'm like, the $55 million mansion or the penthouse? I'm like,
Yes,
yes,
please.
I want to go there. I spoke to Jen Aiden for a bit. She's fun.
She is fun.
She's a lot of fun in person. I really liked her. And then I saw Teresa. Well, Pat, who does Herd Up Media, we have the same company that her podcast is on too. Pat was like, hey, Stu's going to be up there. Look out for him. She's like, oh my God, can you send me a photograph of him? And so he sent a photograph. And so she was like, oh my God, it's Stu, it's a chef. And I'm like, hi, how are you? And she's like, let's get a photo. And so we get a photo, and really, really sweet. Like super, super sweet.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened to Watch What Happens Live? She's like, oh my God, I'll tell you later. I was like, okay. And she told me, which was fun. Really great. But just like, you see, I watched those two on the show, and I'm like, I don't really like them.
Yeah.
And then I see them in person. I'm like, I actually really like them. They're actually really sweet.
Because in person is somebody's so different than what you see of them on camera.
Yeah, I know. It really is. And it looked pretty. I mean, Jen Aiden looks like she's 30.
Yeah.
She looks amazing. She really, really does. And like Teresa looks amazing too, in person. But beautiful meal. It was awesome. It was kind of the kickoff. We went back to the house. I got up in the morning, went to the Southampton Inn, and just kind of left my bag in there and got changed. And then we did the red carpet. Margaret Josephs didn't turn up because Teresa was there, apparently. So it's like this does really play out in real life without cameras.
No, she wasn't going to show up if Teresa was there.
No. And I mean, I feel like I'm so out of the loop with Jersey, even though I watched it. And maybe you can fill me in on some things. But like, how far are we away from the last episode now?
I think there's one episode left before
is that it?
I think there's this episode this week, and then it's the finale.
Okay. So then after the event, the luncheon, which was awesome, I go back to Jill. So I'm staying at Jill's now on the Saturday night. Time of my life. We go to Baron's Cove for dinner. She takes me there like with Gary and like Ali and all that stuff. And we're going back, and then she starts showing me around the house. And I took a video of it, and I posted it that night, and I just felt like I was too drunk in it. And I was like, I got to pull this down. Which she was so funny, showing me all like the nicks and knacks of her house. Like it's just a whole electronic house. Everything's like done by electronics and stuff. It's really, really cool. Then like she's going to bed, and I'm like, what's in your cup? She's like, what do you mean what's in my cup?
Vodka.
She's like, I don't know what's in my cup. She's like, it's Diet Coke. I'm like, you've Diet Coke in your cup before you go to bed. She's like, yeah, it's like water. I'm like, oh my God.
How do you drink Diet Coke before? Well, I used to be able to drink coffee before, but I mean, no.
I'd be like, I can't have like I love, if I ever get a burger at night for like dinner or something like that, I love a Coke with my burger. I can't do that anymore. The last time I did it, and I'm wondering like, why did I not sleep last night? I'm like, oh, you had Diet Coke or you had regular Coke. It's the caffeine. It really does affect me in the nighttime. And I love coffee. I love caffeine. I love coffee and all that stuff.
I do too.
So I don't know how she fucking runs. Like she must just sit there and look at the ceiling. She just get up.
No, she probably goes. She probably her body's probably just used to it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think her body is just adjusted that she can do it. That's so crazy.
I know. I think like the Diet Coke is in like a certain temperature in one of her fridges, and then she has like this beautiful ice machine to go with it. Like it's like a whole thing in the house. It's really, really awesome. I get up. So I think she saw the photographs of Pauly, the dinner at Pauly's, and she's like, "When are you going to cook for me?" I said, "When I come to Boca, I'll cook for you." She's like, "Well, what about brunch tomorrow morning?" I'm like, "Oh." I'm like, okay. I was like, all right, I'll do brunch. And I was like, I got up. She's like, yeah, Gary can go get the stuff. We'll do it in the morning. I was like, okay. So I got up, went to the store, went to the market, got back, made brunch for everybody. It was fun. It was easy, like French toast, frittata, got some bagels. It was like an easy thing. It wasn't like a crazy thing, but super, super fun. And I mean, she just always looks after me. I just love her so much. But yeah, every year you have to come to that with me some year. Okay. Like you have to figure out like do some stuff in New York and then we'll go up there the weekend or something and just like do that whole thing. It'd be so, so fun. Tell me what's going on with Orange County. I just don't like what's like is like I watched it. What did you think about Jennifer Pedanti? The way Gina attacked her?
I am not on Gina's side in this. I think like listen. First of all, Gina, you're not a real fucking realtor, okay? You're not like you're just starting. This is really just a storyline for you. We've seen housewives do. What happened to her skincare line? Remember when she launched a skincare line because she was going to be where's that at, right? This is not real. Like she probably in her head is like telling herself that it's real, but like come on. And like my thing is it's like Jen didn't sign the lease being like, oh, I'm going to have financial issues. My husband's going to stop paying for things. And I'm like, she literally, like, her world went upside down. And like, the one time, you know, you need a little grace, Gina's making it about herself. And it's like,
completely.
She literally has 5 children that she has to feed. And you think that she should have thought of your fake real estate career? Like, that should have been the number one priority on her mind. Like, shut up.
Your fake real estate career. And then like I mean then she got in the car. Did you see the preview for tonight? Like she got in the car and she's like she's like or Emily's like broke Barbie. I'm like I want to text Emily. I'm like Emily, that wasn't nice. Like broke Barbie or whatever she said. I'm like, oh my, I mean kind of funny, but like Jesus. I mean she's just getting laid into. I thought Shannon was bad.
If she was broke Barbie, then Gina was broke Bratz. Because Gina just came from that.
With the hair.
With the hair.
Yeah, I know. I kind of agree with you. It's like if she was a well-established real estate agent, I get it.
But
But
also
it was like she lost everything
yeah, and also
because of this.
a one referral where somebody's life goes up into flames and they can't pay their rent, like, that's not gonna ruin your career. It was
It's not.
literally one and, like, listen, people sign and refer and do these things all the time. Nobody could have predicted that this was going to happen.
Yeah. No, no, of course. No, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. And it was like she should have given some grace with it. Um I just what's gonna I'm trying to think.
I
What
did
I'm
love
thinking
her
of right
I
now.
did love Jen's shade towards Gina, though, where she's like, "Just because my life went up in flames doesn't mean I have to look like it like you did."
Yeah, I know. She's like, I know. It was amazing. The extensions comment. I mean, that was bad though at that time. It really
Yeah.
was. Bellino and
Shannon.
Shannon, how like I mean, I don't know what's next for them. And just I love the way Tamara says also, like, we can't talk about like the settlement and what people got, but Shannon lost 300 and I lost 100.
Yeah.
It's just it's like what?
And, well, I don't know how real that figure is, at least for Shannon, because Shannon
Oh, I
won.
think it is.
No,
I
no,
think it
I
was.
believe she spent $300, but Shannon won her suit against Jim Bellino, where he had to pay for a substantial portion of her attorney's fees. So,
Oh,
maybe
okay.
she spent 300 up front, but I don't think she lost 300 in total because he had to pay her back for some of it because he lost the lawsuit, and
Huh.
she sued him for the
Oh,
attorney's fees.
got it. Got it. Okay. I didn't know that. Oh, interesting.
That's why when she's, like, really trying to I don't know, I'm just like, "Shannon, like, let's talk about the real issue. You're mad that Alexis is banging your ex-boyfriend. It's not
Yeah.
about the lawsuit. Like, nobody cares about the lawsuit. Like, the lawsuit is in the past. Alexis had nothing to do with the lawsuit. She was already divorced from Jim. Like, you're mad that she's dating John Jansen. That, like, get
100%.
to the
And like
core of the issue."
she used that as the yeah. And she used the lawsuit as the excuse to kind of
To be
like
like,
be
"Oh,
like, I'm
you come
fine.
after me."
Date away. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, um, what else is going on? Anything else in the news on your pop culture world? I mean, that's all I got for like right now.
It's been pretty dismal. I know there was all the John Fuda arrest stuff that was going around, which
Oh yes, that happened when I
yeah.
landed. Remember, I texted you and I said, "There's something going on with John Fuda. You need to like dig deep or something like that." Somebody said something, and so that came out or whatever that eventually came out, whatever that was. What
He
was it? It
was
was like,
he was arrested back in 2008 when he was 20.
I
The
mean,
charges were dropped and there was no conviction that was ever made. But
so
he
like
was
that's
involved. There were 7 people, so who knows what role he had specifically,
yeah,
but there were 7 people involved. It was a or it was a burglary. It wasn't necessarily a
got
home
it.
invasion because they didn't really I don't think they broke into the it was like a bad drug deal gone wrong where there was like 2 groups of bad apples and one of them
Yeah,
decided to come and rob the other one, and so they tied up these people and ransacked their place and stole drugs and money and
Jesus.
jewelry. And then they got caught and he was arrested because he was one of the people that got caught because he was involved in it, but he was never convicted.
I mean, stuff you do when you're 20, you know?
But you're just dumb and stupid at 20. Like, it's just
Exactly.
it's 15, 16 years ago that it's
Like,
like,
how
what is
old
it?
is he now? Like 45, and
I
like
don't think
it's
it's that.
25 years later. Like he's not even that. He's oh, okay.
Well,
I'm
he was
42.
20 in 2008. So yeah, 15, 16 years ago.
Oh,
So
he's that young?
he's
I'm older than
36,
him.
35, 36. Wow, I thought he was older.
Oh, so did I.
He looks older. But I mean, listen, it happened a long time ago. He's had no other arrests since then. He says that, like, listen,
Yeah,
I was caught up with some
it's a
bad
stretch.
people. I was doing some bad stuff. I had a kid. When I had a kid, I woke up, I got my shit together, and here we are.
Happens to everybody. It really does.
Yeah.
I
And
know.
when was my last home invasion?
No, but you know what? It usually is around 18 years of age. Like a lot of people like are stupid and they get
Well,
DUIs.
but the
Like that's
Jersey,
when they get out their
yeah,
DUIs
the
like
Jersey
thing.
fans are like mad because they're just like, oh, well, he said that that he was involved with dealing drugs when he was 17, and we show that the arrest happened when he was 20, so he lied. I'm just like,
Oh
really?
Jesus. I
Like,
mean,
I'm
like
sure he was selling pot all throughout. I don't know. There could have been a 5-year time period. Like,
there's just I mean, They're just stretching. They're just looking for anything because they're mad. They're just
Yeah,
like
they
mad,
just
and they're
don't like
just.
him. They're gonna look for anything that they can get to use as ammunition against him.
And so they shot the finale, or they shot the reunion. I didn't hear anything. I didn't ask anything.
I heard that nothing happens at it. They just
Oh,
watch.
really?
They just watch the finale, and then that's it. They watch it and they discuss it as it's like a live watch party,
Uh-huh.
and that's it.
And do you think they're going to shake it up? Do you think they're going to change
Oh
any?
yeah,
Oh, you
honestly,
do?
I think my money is on Teresa and Margaret for not returning.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Really, with Teresa not returning, she just wants a break, do you think? It's just too
I
much?
just think she's like her story's been played out. Like she did
Yeah.
this whole story arc. Like when they got rid of Vicky or they got rid of Nene, like eventually like their stories were just told and it was time
Yeah.
to move on. Um, so I think Teresa's the next to go, and I think Margaret's the next to go. I think the rest of the cast, from what we saw in this most recent episode at the party that Fuda hosted, that group can get together and have a good time and have fun and
Yeah.
mingle and have some petty drama or whatever. But like that group would be fine. I honestly think if you take Jennifer Aiden away from Teresa, she'll probably end up being a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Have you heard anything like happening with Beverly Hills as they're shooting now? I know there was like the fashion show the other night.
I think I haven't heard a
No.
damn thing about Beverly
It's
Hills.
just, you know what? Do you know what? Do you know what I'll say to you? I've looked at photographs online, and it's just like it shows them all, and I'm just so fucking bored by looking at the photographs. I'm like, there's no spark.
No.
There was no spark last season either.
The only spark that is there is Kyle, Erica, and Dorit. I think that those are the only three that have
Got it.
star power and can hold the show. The rest of them, I agree. Like everyone's excited about Jennifer Tilly, but I'm like, are we though? Like,
But I think she's just doing a few cameos in
yeah,
it. Is
she's
she
just
like a
doing a few
main
cameos.
star?
But even then,
Exactly.
seeing her in the mix, like I'm not genuinely believing that like Kyle and Dorit are hanging out with Jennifer Tilly and like we're all like at least Kyle, Erica, and Dorit have a friendship and they like hang out outside of the
Yeah.
show. They were just celebrating Lisa Rinna's birthday. They all did a dinner together. You know, when Erica did her residency, they all flew out to go support Erica. That like, you know,
Mhm.
there is that genuine friendship and those relationships that are there with them. Whereas the rest of them, I don't know. You know, Garcelle, I know, just in an interview, and she's like, the dynamics are changing, and you know, there's a lot that goes on. It's a good season. You're gonna love the new housewife, but I'm just like,
I'm like,
it just sounds like all the things you're supposed to say to hype up the season.
I know. I know. When does that start? You're like, I don't care.
Well, I think they wrap filming this month. I think next is just the cast trip, and then after that, they're wrapped. But I mean, I'm assuming. I mean, I hope we get it by December.
Okay.
But it may
Yeah.
be like January, to be honest. They may hold on to it for a minute. Because for the fall, we're gonna have Salt Lake City. We're gonna have New York.
New York, I'm excited about
Southern
season 2.
Charm. So
Have you seen the show Presumed Innocence?
no.
It's so good. If anybody's listening, watch that show. It is, I mean, on episode 3, the twists and turns. Jake Gyllenhaal, he's lovely to look at. Just watch it. It's a good one. It's a good binge. And I feel like you do binges, don't you?
I do binges. I can't. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
It's a good
just,
one.
like,
Solid.
do it on a weekend and just like binge. Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna have to tune into it.
You got to tune into
And then
it.
when I'm
All right,
on
Zach.
next week, then I'll recap it with you.
Okay, so I'll see you back here next Wednesday or Thursday. Okay. Zach, Peter, thank you so much for coming on today. Guys, we just did Disaster Daters. I was on there with Zach. Fantastic show. A lot of fun. You get to learn a lot more about me and my whole like dating like stuff. You know, right?
It was good. We talk about your dating life, your exes, cheating, falling in love, heartbreak, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, we really, really did cover a lot. Tell them where else to find you, Zach.
I have No Filter with Zach Peter, Disaster Daters, and The Pop Report. Those are my 3 podcasts. They're available on all podcast platforms. You can watch them on YouTube, watch them on Spotify, listen to them everywhere. I'm Zach Peter. You can follow me all over the internet. So there you go.
All right. Thanks so much, Zach. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.